Hey everyone, I'm just going to make a quick video and tutorial description on a method that I like to use for the water roll jump into the boulder room in the left side of Mars Tomb. Project to any percent. This strat only really applies to any percent because in all missions you'd have the jet board. But yeah, it's a trick that is really early game. It can eat up a lot of runs at first when you're starting out because it can be pretty scary. There's not really a whole lot to work with here in terms of like visual cues, and the jump can feel pretty precise. I remember when I first started, it didn't even feel like a 50-50 odds to get it. It felt more like 30% of the time or something, which was really intimidating. But until you find like a setup, which everyone eventually does, it starts to become a lot easier and not really scary. Like you stop really thinking about it, which is nice. It feels a lot more kind of comfortable. Personally, the strat that I do, which is not the only viable method, there's a lot of really good setups. But this, I feel like this is the one I could really articulate the best. So I just wanted to show, in case it helps. Mine involves a visual cue that you can see once you kind of get into the right spot. Basically, I'm just going to go back here and go up to where I usually do it. I do like water roll jumps up to where this kind of line ends. I can't really zoom in, but where this line ends like this, you see? You can do it a lot earlier. I've slowly started doing it earlier because I've gotten more comfortable with it, and I'm starting to realize you don't have to be that far out. But this was definitely a really consistent spot where it worked for me a lot at first. And then mine involves a visual cue using that building that loads in when you get this far out on the right. You'll see it kind of like fades in and out. To get it to show up, just pan the camera so it kind of bonks against the left wall and you'll see it there. And my visual cue is like what I have in that image on the side. You just want to creep out until you're kind of in this like dark stripe that I'm kind of occupying with the jump. And I usually like to kind of stay more on the left side of it and then just kind of point, just point towards the room. And that's how you know you have a good distance. This is kind of the distance you want. And then from there, it's just a matter of getting the water roll. And the water roll, something I'd recommend is when you jump, obviously you have to be holding forward or a direction to get the roll, kind of like that. You don't really want to like jump and move too much like this, because then your position is suddenly it's not really in the same spot you were at. So what I've gotten in the habit of doing is either holding the direction button only a tiny little bit, like you'll see I'm barely moving, or just pushing it at the very last second, which is actually what I do most of the time. That feels a lot more comfortable. Where you just kind of tilt it right at the end. So I'll just show you how it works. I just kind of like walk up to this part, turn the camera if it's not loaded, walk up to there, and jump. And then the spinning is really context-based. The timing to spin is really lenient. The only thing that I would say, don't spin really late and don't spin really early. So like, kind of like wait maybe close to a half of a second even before you spin, and don't wait till you're closer to the bottom. Don't wait till you're closer to the ground than you are to the ledge. You kind of want to like maybe somewhere in the middle. If you're like right here and you spin, there's a good chance you'll just bonk against the edge and fall. Another thing that's good to know is that thing, I'll show you, or actually it's really hard to show you from this side, but because everything is solid when I'm inbound, but that pillar that with like the kind of little wave things is solid both in and out of bounds. If you hit that, you run the risk of bonking and losing all your forward momentum, which means you'll just plummet straight down and completely miss this. So if you think you're going to hit that, you can bonk it, and then once you pass it, try to kind of grab the edge right here. You can sometimes just kind of snag it right at the end, but just be wary of that bar. It's solid. And that's pretty much the extent of it. I left the image there, like up on the video, so that you can just see that the whole time instead of having to like go back to that spot. Yeah, that visual cue, it works for me pretty consistently. Of course, I fail it on occasion. There's a few things that can go wrong, like you can getting a feel if you're still failing it consistently. The thing that you might be doing is not pointing Jack in like a straight line straight into the room. You might be pointing 2 diagonals to the left or right, which is easy because it's you can't really get a good idea of where he's looking exactly. That's something you just have to you slowly start to get a feel for. It becomes a lot easier. I just have to say this is all practice. I have weeks where I feel like I figure it out and it's perfect, and then I have weeks where I can't do it once. So it's just keep doing it and you'll get there. But yeah, I really hope that helps. Catch you around.